When I am preparing to do a project, I like to do some preparation ahead of time to make sure that I have everything I need and I have a plan in place so that once I get started, there is an end goal, and also I ensure that I haven't forgotten something along the way, especially when you have lots of projects on the go. So I pulled this together as just kind of a little planner that kind of talks about some of the things that I think about and actually write out in a notebook. So I can share this with you if you're interested in it. I can post it in our group because Facebook will allow me to do it, but YouTube, I couldn't find a way to attach a file. So what it does is it goes through what is your project and what is your theme. What are the dates of the event from what you were doing? So was there a particular road trip you were on? Or is it a December daily? The location, so road trip, or if it was a travel thing. Key products you want to use. Key techniques you want to include. Photos that you need. Are those photos printed or do you still need to do that? Have you purchased all the products that you require for this project? And then any other notes that you want to put in. So keeping this in mind, I want to talk about some of the projects that I have on the go right now, and how I also look at projects when I want to do certain things. So the first project that we're going to talk about is a memory album for my mother. And so the project theme there would be my mom. So there's lots of ways that I could explore that. Am I going to do it in a certain line of paper? Am I going to use a certain color? Am I going to be focusing on photos that are a particular theme, like Christmas or birthdays? Or is it just general photos? So when I talk about themes and key products, key things I want to look and explore, then that's what I'm talking about. So when I was thinking about my mom loved the color blue. And so that is the theme that I'm going with. So all different pictures, but a blue theme. So in my stash, I have this Project Life album that is quite old. I don't even know what year it's from, 2013. And I got it somewhere and I've never used it, but it's a nice fake leather album. Not super thick on the spine, but that's okay because I'll just have to make sure that I don't do too many really thick pages or limit the flips and the flaps or the thickness of the embellishments. But that's okay because in working with the blue, one of the key things that I wanted to use was the 49 & Market Starlight Dreams collection. It has lots of blues in it. It has lots of, whites and neutrals. I really, really liked this paper, and quite a bit of the paper will actually match this album, picking up that light blue. The embellishments, I did pick up a number of them. They are nice and flat. The chipboard has some thickness to it, but with chipboard, I tend to peel the back of the chipboard anyway so that I get a little bit of a thinner profile. And then I can also use the laser, oh no, not the laser cuts. These are rub-ons. So I can use the rub-ons for this too. So with these products, there's not a lot of thickness. I can reduce thickness that's already there. Those are kind of the key things. Now, also with the blue, I'm not just going to use that because I have a lot of blue products and other things that made me think of my mother. I do have some Christmas papers that are blue and gray in tone that I think are from Studio Light. It was an 8x8 paper pack and it matches so well with the album. Again, it's all blue tones that I want to use, so I can mix and match these in with the Starlight Dreams. Also, Minte had a bunch of papers with Traveler and Photographer, and I really liked the blue tones with the album there. and they will match the other Starlight Dreams because they have that vintagey look. I can cut them down. I can make little flip-flops. So again, it won't give me a ton of thickness. And so I'm really happy with that. I did pick up some other blue things. This is vellum from Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure about that. We'll see how it goes, but I liked the pattern. Even if I don't use it in this book, I can use it elsewhere. And I also have some just random blue bits from other collections, like Toddler Time had this great blue page. And I have a few bits and pieces from other companies, like this Fairy Garden paper from Echo Park. So I have kind of all these blue bits that I can use when I am working on this album. Now, the album itself, no particular techniques that I want to use when I'm thinking about the album. I'll kind of work on it as I go and look at the photos that I've already printed. I picked a smattering of ones of my mom in, different situations, birthdays, Christmases, family events, just hanging out at the house. So those are ready to go. I have all of the products that I need. I don't think I'll need anything else. If I do need stuff, I can pull that from my stash. And I'm just going to kind of see where it takes me. Now, when I'm doing an album like this, you can either have all of your photos ahead of time, or you can plan specific pages. I'm going to do a separate video on that shows like front and back of the pocket pages and how I kind of plan things out specifically. That isn't the plan for this album. So I have the photos, they're ready to go. I'm going to use page protectors or go outside of page protectors as is warranted by the stories that I want to tell and the photos that I have. I have already kind of pulled together a list of different stories and things that I was thinking of with my childhood and my time spent with my mom, so that I can use that as a jumping point for picking a photo and the paper and then telling a story with that. So that is one way that you can go with a particular kind of free range with the photos and a particular color scheme. Now, when I am looking at another album, so here is an album that I am going to use for my December Daily 2013-2014. So in recording the other videos, I realized I didn't do an album for that year. And that was the year we got married. We were super busy in December because we got married December 16th. We had hosted the family Christmas. We had friends and family in town. It was a very, very busy month. And so I didn't plan out a December Daily. And that was before I was really doing December Daily in albums the way that I do it now. It was the next year that I kind of picked that up and started it. So what I'd like to do is go back and create one. So the beauty of this is that I have a perspective that is very different than at the time. But also one thing that is different is that I can't do a December Daily because I don't have photos for every single day. So what I'm going to do for that is a December stories. So I'll probably pick around 24 to 25 stories that I will document for that year. And with that, this is an old album. Again, I picked this up when Echo Park was having a warehouse sale. I think it was like $3 or $4. It's not very thick, which will work because I'm only going to be documenting 25 stories. And so that will be a sufficient binding and size for those stories. Now, again, this is an old album. So I don't have the stuff that matches this album perfectly. I can't pick up a collection pack because I don't even think they make this collection pack anymore because it was 12 years ago. However, this is where I can shop my stash. Now, if you haven't gotten any of these little zip pouches, I highly recommend them. You can get them in 12 by 12. I think this one is 12 by 16. And I put everything in here that I can use. So I went through and I shopped my stash. So I have a bunch of the paper and I have a sticker sheet for this Make It Merry Simple Stories line, which is very fun and I like the colors. And I went through my stash and I just picked out papers that will match these stickers. Now, I also have some papers that are specific from this line. I think they're at the bottom here. Yes. So I have some of the Make It Merry papers, and, you know, multiples of the ones that I really liked, like red and white, or this black and red, or the poinsettias. And so I pulled these out and I am going to use these as the basis of my album. Now, will I use all of these? No, this is a lot of paper, but I wanted to pick things that had the black and white, that had the green, that had the kind of seafoam or the turquoise, and I'll see what I use. I did have a couple of pieces of paper that is the exact album cover, so that was kind of nice and a happy coincidence. Again, I love poinsettias, so not shocking that I bought it, but I'm going to just free range use whatever I want to use at the time, keeping in mind my 25 stories. So I can pull my photos, which I've done. I have yet to print those, and I'm going to do 25 stories. So I would map out, looking at my photos, 25 stories. So things like family coming to town, our actual wedding day, my coworkers decorated my desk on my last day of work before the wedding. You know, the wedding itself was one day, but we had a rehearsal kind of dinner the night before. I could do one of the stories of decorating before. We had the wedding at my in-laws in their backyard with their palm trees. So that is a story. I could do a story about hosting the family Christmas. So there's lots of ways that I can have 25 stories, even though I have photos for maybe 6 days out of the month. Okay, not a big deal. And then after the paper, I shot my stash for other things that kind of matched with what I was looking. So there's neutral tones in here. I had these kind of wood grain looking words. They're super thin, which is kind of nice. Oh, Tuesday morning, I miss you. I also had some simple stories from a totally different line, but it had reds and kind of that Christmas, and it had a house. You know, we got married at my in-laws' house. We had family over to our apartment. I also had some cards that were sent through the years. Now, were these the exact year? I'm not sure. But I thought I could include some of those as well because I liked the images on them. I've got some smaller papers. I've got some random simple stories page pieces. I never do the pages that they recommend on the back. I always use them in my albums, one of which is the exact line for those stickers. I have bits from other... Oh, there's another card. I have bits from other lines. So this is Ellie Studio. Love their products. They're really a good price. So if you're wondering about them, let's chat because I absolutely adore them. And then I have some bits from an Ellie Edwards December Daily that I have not used. This only goes to 25. Usually when you get numbers, they go to 31 in case you want to do the entire month. These ones do not. And so I would never use them for anything else. So I'm going to use them because they go to 25. And actually, they may only go to 24. I'd have to look at that. But I checked to make sure they do not go to 31. So I'm going to use those up. Again, they are chipboard, but they're quite thin. I could probably still peel them if I wanted to, make them a little bit thinner. We'll see how it goes with that album. And then I did have some bits and pieces. Like these are some foiled pieces that did not go well. Because of my transfer sheet had some issues. So I can cut these up or I can use them as they are with vintage or put something big on them. I don't know. I just have these and I can cut them up. I'll punch little circles, but I want to try and use those up because they match everything else. I also have these from an Ellie Edwards set. where they were big circles and their chipboard and punching them out. But I thought that would be really cool to, put some stencil butter on, or cover with paper, or do something. Again, their chipboard, I'd probably peel them so not as thick, but I could put little pictures in behind. So here, the product is probably going to drive the album versus the photos. So for instance, on one day, maybe I want this to be the 8th. This would be, story number 8, and maybe I want to put an 8 in one of these, and then I would look and find photos to go in these. So I'll be prepping the photos to print as I'm creating the album. So kind of a very different approach than my mom's album, which I have the photos already, and I'm going to make everything work around the photos. So that is another way that you can kind of approach that. The theme is going to be the stories of Christmas. The date, it will be 2013. And I already have the products, but I'm going to need to prep those photos. And so on that sheet, I would indicate, what photos do I need? Are there techniques that I want to include? I don't know. I'll probably kind of play as I go. I might use, mixed media. I may not. I may just stick with the very clean, bright colors and the gold, and that's it. Now, a different approach to that is this year's December Daily, where I chose to use the gorgeous 49 & Market Vicki Boutin line. Now, this line is very different. The last pack, we saw very traditional colors, and usually that is me. This year, though, I don't know. I'm feeling the pink. I'm feeling the seafoam. I'm feeling the black and white. I'm feeling something different. Okay. I love this line. I know a lot of people, they like it, but they're not flipped on it. I have lost sleep dreaming about this line and thinking about my book. And so this is what I'm going to use. Now, I got a bunch of the different pieces and the laser cuts, and I also got the project, the project kit, okay? And you see I already have sticky notes of some ideas. These will all fit in a 6x8 album, except for this guy right here. He's too tall and too wide. To cut it down, you would lose a lot of the door. But that's okay, because I made a note. I have a 9x12 album. When we went to Texas in November, I'm going to use this door for when we get to my friend's house. Okay. So, I'm going to use this. Nothing is punched, which is really nice. I love all of the pieces. I'm super, super excited about this. So, I don't think I would use a flip book. If I had more people visiting and I had a bunch of company, or if I had kids, I probably would be more excited about the flip book aspect, but I don't. And so I'm going to use these in my album and all of the bits and stuff. I'm really, really pumped about this. And I had this album in my stash. So again, I kind of pick up albums as I see them. I know I will use them eventually. I probably bought this like 4 years ago. It was on clearance from Ellie Edwards because there were some little foil blips, which I don't care if there's imperfections because I got this album so cheap and it's all foiled. Doesn't matter to me because they rub anyway, and so it might get damaged over time. It makes me happy, so I don't care. Okay, so because there's lots of black in here, I did have a red album, but it didn't match the red. It was too tomato red, and it just didn't look good. But I really liked the black and the white in here. I wear black 99.9% of the time, so what a shock that I'd be drawn to black. But this album is what I'm going to use for December Daily. Now, with December Daily, again, you can wait till you have the photos and then build it around your photos Or like I did last year, and if you look at the December Daily 2024 album, that was using the Evergreen and Season bundle from Air that Simple Pleasures had. And so I built the entire album first and then put the photos in later. So I am going to do the same thing this year. I really, really liked it because at the end of Christmas, I could just print my photos, put them in the album, do some journaling, and I'm done. I think one thing I would do this year differently is that I would journal each day. So I didn't do the journaling till I got the photos. And by then, some of my things that I probably would have captured in my journaling had left my brain. Simply because I waited to finish that album until the reunion crop in July. And so I think I would do the journaling daily, and then be ready for the photos to come. Okay. I do send my photos to Shutterfly. I could send them somewhere and pick them up daily if I wanted to, but I tend to really like Shutterfly. And so, plus I get a huge discount with my Costco card. And so that's where I get my photos. So this is what I'm doing this year. I will do more videos and you'll probably see me working on this at crops and stuff, but this is the plan for this year. Now, another way of doing things is that I am planning on doing a journal album for my friend. And I actually am going to use the same album that I'm using for my 2013. I grabbed 2 of these, no idea why. Probably saw it again and didn't think I got it, and so grabbed it again. She would absolutely love this pattern. Now, she is not a scrapbooker. She takes photos, but not a ton of them. She never prints her photos. Anytime that I've done anything with her and she needed printed photos, she actually sent them to me. I prepped them, sent them in. She went and picked them up. Like, she just panics over things like that. But she loves journaling. And so what I've done is I have gone through my stash and once again pulled out papers and stickers and goodies that I could make different flips and flaps and things in this album that will hold journaling spots. Now, I'm going to do them all different sizes. If she wants to put photos in, she can, but chances are she's just going to journal. And I'm not going to put any numbers. I'm just going to use a wide variety of products that I have, things that are left over from, Evergreen and Season, things I have left over from Christmas Spectacular. I have just random bits and bobs that I've pulled that go with the traditional green and red. And I'm going to intersperse some blue in there as well. But she really loves the vintage kind of look and vibe. I do have some things in here. She loves baking. This is probably too modern for what I'm going to do with some of these. But I could use some of these stickers that don't have the pinks and things like that. Just use the ones that are the green and the red, or things that are blue. So that's kind of a different album. I've never really done one of those before, but I thought I would challenge myself because I think that would make a really good gift for her and something that she would really enjoy. And it would all be together in a book that then she has ongoing that she can continue to journal in. She could add more to it because it's a binder. She could revisit it. She loves everything about Christmas. And so I thought that that would be a great opportunity to use up some of my stuff, but also give her her own kind of December book. Because she's always excited about the ones that I'm making, like bread trucks, things that she loves. So I pulled those together and I'm going to be working on one of these as well. So the theme for this would just be Christmas. And again, I have all the products that I need. There's nothing that I need to buy. Shop your stash. There's so many things that you may have that you've maybe never used, or you got extra of, or things that are partially used and you've never really gone back and used them, like some of these sticker sheets. Like, I am not into the red truck at all. No interest in it. She loves it. So if I can use a bunch of red trucks on her album, she would be thrilled with that. So again, shop your stash, see what you have. And a lot of these gift albums, because they're 6x8, you don't need a ton of product and you don't need a ton of thickness, right? Because of the album. So that's something to think about as well, based on what you're doing, is different album size, both in height, but also in width. So, you know, kind of see where you're going. If you get to the point where your album is too thick, you might need to pare down, or you might need to change albums. So depending on the album that you're looking at, they're very big variances. Ironically enough, these two have the same page protectors. And originally I was going to do a mom and grandma album, but my grandma album, I actually decided to use Flower Emporium. So I got that album, I got that paper line. So far I've used nothing but that paper line, but I was hoping to intersperse a little bit of the other 49 and Market lines in there. But these have the same page protectors. This one is different. It's a 6-ring, and so I have, like, there's ones that come in here. Ellie Edwards always makes sure that you have lots of page protectors. So I probably have everything I need in the album. Whereas these ones come with a few protectors, but then I have extra ones as well from other projects that I've done. I tend to use a lot of these albums, the Echo Park, Simple Stories, the Project Life. They all use the same configurations of the 2 rings, and so the page protectors are interchangeable. Actually, I just grabbed this because I was working on it, but this is my I Love Colorado album. So here's another themed album that isn't Christmas. It's just a random hodgepodge of things that we have done in Colorado that I really loved. And it's just been ongoing since we moved here in 2018. Some stories are repeated, like Pikes Peak is probably in here a million times. I'm obsessed with that mountain. But like Winter will be in here multiple times. Just random bits and bobs around Colorado. Okay, so lots of different ways that you can theme your album. Lots of different products that you can use. And plan it out, though. That really helps ensure that you have everything that you need. Pulling it together, you saw that the journal kit that I put together was in the Evergreen in Season bag that we got last year with the bundle, because then I want to be portable with it. These zip containers, as I said, work really, really well for holding things together. You can't put a lot of paper in there, and it does, you know, bow a little bit. If you're worried about that, then I would get a 12x12 one. I know that there's a bunch in the store that you can grab, but these are really good for having everything together. Very easy to grab and go, take to a crop, you know, pull when you're working, so that you have everything that you essentially want to use other than your basics, and you're good to go. Again, if you want the little project planner, let me know and I can provide that to you. I can also post it in our Facebook group so that you can grab it from there.